Hey, what is up, everybody? Freshie here, welcoming you back to something new. Well, maybe I'm welcoming you back, but welcoming you something new on the channel. So today, I'm going to be trying my hand at a Genshin Impact character guide. And I swear, I am doing this post-commentary, and I tell you, this looks a whole lot more choppy than actually plain it was, so I don't know what's up with this. So, first off, we're going to be covering Hu Tao. Where I want to start with these guides first is weapons. This one, no. Please do not use it. And also, no. White Tassel, pretty pog for Hu Tao. Could recommend. Halberd, alright. I guess you could use it if you wanted to, but not my top recommendation. I mean, it's fine. Black Tassel, Hu Tao does scale off HP, so this would be fun as well, but the passive is pretty useless with just increased damage on slimes. So use your discretion there if you're a beginner, which this series for beginners. Dragon's Bane, pretty good on Hu Tao because Elemental Mastery, you will always have Pyron for that effect. Pretty pog for Hu Tao. Would recommend. Prototype Starter Letter, probably the best free-to-play option for Hu Tao, just because of its passive. I don't know if she really needs the energy recharge, but the passive is good. Crescent Pike would not recommend because of physical main stat. I mean, I guess its passive could work if you wanted it to, but it's not my top recommendation. I mean, I guess it would give your Hu Tao some out of E usage. Blackcliff Pole, I guess it could be used, but it doesn't quite overlap with Hu Tao Deathmatch. Best 4-star option, I would say, just because of the crit rate, increases attack, and it will increase Hu Tao's defense. Which when we get into Hu Tao's kit, we'll see why that's important for Vonius Lance, not for Hu Tao. Hu Tao does not need the energy recharge. That's all Vonius Lance is. Royal Spear, wouldn't recommend. Dragonspine Spear, not useful on Hu Tao. Again, physical damage. Lithic Spear, good on Hu Tao, would recommend. If you have it, and if you have multiple Inazuma party members that you could use with it. This new weapon for Inazuma, I have not crafted yet. I have not tried on Hu Tao, but I think it could work on Hu Tao. My personal analysis of it, Catch, not for Hu Tao. She's not a burst character, or at least not a burst only character. She doesn't need the energy recharge, so there's really not much use into using the Catch on Hu Tao. Now, Waves Breaker's Fin, again with the burst buffing not really being applicable with Hu Tao. Just my opinion. You could use it as just like a stat stick to have her attack up, but not what I would recommend. Vortex Vanquisher, if you have it, and if you have good shield units to use with Hu Tao, like Toma, Zhongli, I could definitely recommend this on Hu Tao. Not her best, but about middle ground. Skyward Spine, wouldn't recommend on Hu Tao. Again, she doesn't need the energy recharge, and you really don't want to be using many normal attacks. Hu Tao is more of a charge attacker with her E state. Engulfing Lightning, pretty much same thing as Catch. You could definitely build her burst spam on field DPS type thing, but it's not Hu Tao's optimal playstyle. Now, Primordial Jadewing Spear. Yes, yes, and yes. This is the one I personally am using on Hu Tao right now, simply because I just got Staff of Homa and I have not raised it. I have raised Primordial Jade Cutter, so that's what I'm using right now. That's because you could do multiple attacks and then burst with the stacks up on the Jadewing Spear passive, and then you burst for big damage. Something you can do with it, and it gives the crit rate, which Hu Tao already has crit damage as her Ascension stat. So you could definitely do this. If you have it, I would recommend it if you don't have a C6 Hu Tao like most people. But if you happen to have this, now Staff of Homa. I have it. I don't have it built. Everybody says it's her best in slot, but to me, it gets this over focus on crit damage, and then you're left out on the crit rate to use that crit damage. Just my insight. But now we've gone over weapons, and here's where I'm showing, like, I have not raised my Staff of Homa yet. And I plan on leaving on Toma, actually, as it is, to shield bot. So, that is why my Staff of Homa is not on Hu Tao. Now, Hu Tao herself. Here's where I show some stats. I mean, I guess she's an okay Hu Tao. Definitely not the best. I do like my own personal crit rate, crit damage ratio. I think it works well. Not quite that 2-to-1, but hey, I'll take the extra crit rate over having some crit damage, but no crit rate, which would happen if I swapped out the polearms. Also, her attack is alright because of what one of her talents is. Also, I showed pyro damage there. It's like 53%, about 54% with the artifacts I have. So, now we move into Hu Tao's talents. Starting with her normal attack, it's whatever, it's an attack cycle. I do recommend raising this a little bit. And just look at that charge attack damage. That's nearly 200% on an attack. Now, this is her E, Flaming Butterfly mode. Basically, what it does is, trades Hu Tao's HP for attack while in the state, converts everything to pyro damage, charge attacks Blood Blossom, or if you will, the Butterfly's Death Bloom, as I like to call it, and then increases Hu Tao's resistance to interruption. I guess, if your charge attack, I don't think you can really get interrupted all that much. But it's something nice, I guess, in Hu Tao's kit. Now, this is, trades HP, increases attack by HP. It's something broken because it caps off at 400%, so you can't do more than quadruple Hu Tao's attack, but it's still a buff to attack. And I don't think I actually demonstrated this in the video, but something I do want to say is that attack buff is only while she is in the butterfly state. Once her E cooldown, or once she's out of her E, that attack buff disappears. It's only for the duration of the E. Now, here we go. Boo Brutality is what I'm going to call this. Spirit Soother, if you prefer actual name. So, basically, this is just dealing an AoE where Hu Tao trades for HP. Now, with her burst, again, 60 cost, not a high cost, and Hu Tao will do more damage if she has lower HP, as you can tell by the scaling here. Now, moving on to the first passive talent. In the butterfly state, or when the flame butterfly state ends, the entire team gets a 12% increase in crit rate. This is why you'd want to run Hu Tao with another DPS, because as soon as that window is gone of her E, as I showed there, it's 16-second cooldown, you have 9 seconds of active, then you have 8 seconds of a 12% increased attack, or crit rate. And so pretty much you use Hu Tao for its full duration. You swap off to another DPS if you team her that way. And then that other DPS has increased crit rate from Hu Tao. Now, second talent, fourth ascension. If her HP is below 50%, you get a 33% pyro damage bonus, which I'm pretty sure is about a full goblet. I think I was fixing to show that there, but then I didn't. So basically, I get like 87% pyro damage on my Hu Tao when she's in her E and below 50% health. Now, the last passive is pretty useless. It just lets her cook suspicious food. It's something if you don't have the talents unlocked for it, I guess. Or not the talents, the achievements. So, artifacts. I do 2-piece Crimson Witch, 2-piece Wonders, just because. Now, something I failed to do, and I meant to do this for videos. So, for free-to-play players, I recommend Berserkers and Martial Artists first for Hu Tao. Something else you could do, I believe, is Adventures, because it gives her 1,000 more HP. So if you're early game, those are the artifact options. I went over the weapon options, but I forgot to go in and go through during when I was showing off my artifacts here. Again, post-commentary, really can't go grab that. So now, the grand question is, what can Hu Tao do? Oh, wait a minute. I nearly ran off and forgot about constellations. Not that a 5-star constellation matters much, in my opinion. The first one means no charge attack stamina. Second, more Blood Blossom damage from when it triggers. And also, Boo Brutality can now apply the Blood Blossom, which before that constellation only charge attacks in her E state can do. Butterfly mode gets stronger. Defeating an enemy with Blood Blossom gives another 12% increased crit rate. Again, like a C4 Hu Tao, best ran with another DPS that can take care of that. Boo Brutality gets stronger. And C6 is crazy and has a lot of dialogue. I guess I just had to write a light novel. Basically, it's Super Saiyan. She gets, when she falls below 25% HP, she gets 100% crit rate. That's why whales just run Staff of Homa with no real care, because they don't have to worry about crit rate. They just focus crit damage, and the constellation takes care of their crit rate for them. And then it gives her physical and elemental damage resistance. So now, teams. How will they build up teams? Well, I want to start off with free-to-play options. Barbara, no, for love. Diona is okay. You can weave in and out of her burst field. She gives cryo for melt. Lisa, no. Kaya, pretty good because melts, bursts, stuff like that. Ningguang, no. Noelle, please, no. Amber, pretty good. Gives some supplemental energy. Fischl, I guess, but I don't like the overload. Yanfei's a DPS, so you don't use her. Rosaria, good. Xiangling, also good. For non-free-to-play 4 stars. Zhongyu, no. Bennett, you can. Toma, pretty good. I'm down here, might as well say Chi-Chi, no. Diluc, no. Kokomi, you could use. Xin Yan and Razor, no. They're physical DPSs, not supports. Beto, I guess you could. Sora, no. Sucrose, yes, for EM and Pyro buffing. Also, Aloy's a free-to-play option. I forgot that. You could use her. Sayu, not really. Yanfei, I already said no. Out of the 5 stars, I only really recommend Mona and Child, because the rest really are kind of selfish DPSs. You could definitely do like a crit rate Yoimiya and just rely on Hu Tao for crit rate and sub off. The same goes for Ayaka. Ayaka would be a bit better because melt reactions. Keqing, I guess you could if you felt like it. I really don't pair those two up much. And then Ganyu does give a raining field of cryo for Hu Tao to melt and play in. So Ganyu would be a good sub DPS, but I can't say should make full use of Hu Tao's 12% increase. Now on to what I have here. I already said Xingqiu is great. Zhongli shield because you're going to be operating at Hu Tao with half health or less. And then Kazuha to do the same thing as Sucrose for Descent, Shred, and EM buff. Although I don't have a 4-piece Verdescent on my Kazuha, nor do I in my Sucrose later shown, as you will actually see in the artifacts. But they can buff the pyro damage bonus. So, now for Hu Tao. How do you play her, and is she good enough to be worth your Primo Gems for a DPS? Well, I am going to show you right now as we head to the Premier Geo Bishop. And I'm just going to say, I got Hu Tao on her first banner, and I got C1, like, day 1 of her current banner. And I will say Hu Tao is kind of worth it. If you're a light spender and you're looking into, well, I need a DPS that's strong now. Like, I've got good supports, I got a healer and Barbara, and, or if you just need, like, another DPS for Abyss, I could recommend Hu Tao even at low constellations without whale power. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate now, like, my favorite team to run with Hu Tao. Yeah, being the Kazuha, Xingqiu, Zhongli, Hu Tao. And the biggest reason why I like this is, I kind of messed it up here, but you get Kazuha to buff, and as you can tell, there was a 10k charge attack, there was a 16k burst, and Hu Tao is not at all a, like, big, I would say she's not a big nuker, like, per se, Eula or the Raiden, but she does have good scaling in her burst. And, yet again, like, I am just cleaving through Mr. Premier Geo Bishop here, with, like, 3k normal attacks, and, getting a few, like, good charge attacks. And there's why Xingqiu is good. You get Hu Tao lower HP, his range swords collapse, and then your Hu Tao gets healed as much as you really probably want her to. Also, I realized this is the 3rd time that I reflected shower with an E, but also look at the rest of my team. And Hu Tao hasn't even died. I know his Zhongli shield plays a big part. There was only a 12k, I didn't get the crit, but I think the point is kind of saw and understood that this team is just like quick swaps, like snap, snap, snap. You throw out an ability, and I know I recommended running Hu Tao with another DPS, but this is just showcasing how I personally run Hu Tao. Because that's really what I wanted to showcase here. I will say she works good with Chao. I know a lot of people use her with Chao and such, and there was like another almost 10k charge attack. So Hu Tao is just one of those that you can build for speed. That's the case with Ayaka, that's the case with Xiao, that's the case with Keqing. And those are my playstyle. This is the case with Yoimiya, my favorite character. So Hu Tao is something I could recommend as a fast-paced. You can look up on YouTube, other places, where she just nukes. But now I just demonstrated Hu Tao with a 5-star weapon, and like 2 other 5 stars. So that might not be quite reality, and probably I should have swapped to like deathmatch here to show more of the low spenders. I really don't do a free-to-play demonstration. That's on me for not doing so. But I mean, I can be kind of scene-ish. I mean, if you can look at deathmatch as passive compared to like Jadewing Spears, if you're against bosses, you can pretty much have that buff up, and my deathmatch is higher level than my Jadewing Spear. I think if you can go back and look at that on the video, but you know, I do want to showcase that characters where people, low spenders, what have you, they might look at that and be like, well, is this character worth my Primo Gems? And after I've spent like $600 or so on this game, I want to use what I've spent money on and just show that, like, okay, is this character worth it? You know, Hu Tao, is she worth me building a bunch of supports? And, you know, I know it's Crow Regisvine, but I'm just shredding it with low spending worth units, and I failed to use her butterfly step. That was a tip, or that's like a hidden passive to me, so I go through the rest of this battle without Hu Tao. But yeah, and there's, you know, Sucrose. And here's where I take the fit sometimes with the Genshin Impact community, is they get stuck on one character or one character's niche. Like, I mean, I kind of demonstrated how to slaughter Primo Bishop with like a whale high spenderish team. And then there was Krile Regisvine with like a low spenders team. Yeah, it might not have Jadewing Spear, but it might have Deathmatch, and that would be close. You know, it might be a few seconds longer my time if you were to do Hu Tao that way. Also, tip here about Hu Tao. Set your statue to 7 to only 60% recovery rate. That way when you go away, you use her E, and that drops her below 50%. Little pro tip for Hu Tao. So that is my little Hu Tao showcase guide. I recommend having your elemental reactions with the artifact sets, and build her power damage bonus, and just fish for HP, and she's very friendly and flexible. So once again guys, my name is Freshy, and I will catch you next time.